days like today make my heart hurt a little bit more than it does on other days. Being a grief expert doesn't mean that I am immune to pain or to grief. It just means that I know now how to acknowledge my grief and to sit in my emotions when I need to. And the truth is, my life is amazing now. I never thought that it could be. And I owe a lot of that to him, because the way I live my life honors who he was in my life, who he was as a person. And every time I get up and talk about grief, Frank is my story. Every time I do a workshop or a one-on-one program, Frank is my story. And so I get to talk about him all the time, which is simply amazing. I think about what he's thinking, looking down on me. You better be proud. Because it took so much hard work for me to get to this point in my life. And still, every so often, I get the wind sucked out of me. And that's grief. It's all normal, it's all natural. You know, when he died, the things that changed instantly rocked my world like it's never been rocked before. You all know that if you've lost a loved one, that life happens. It keeps moving regardless of our grief, right? So we too have to keep moving. And the healing process takes a lot of hard work. You have to be active and intentional about your healing. And so I hope that, me sharing my story, my life with Frank, the things that I've been through, the things that I continue to go through, inspires you to have courage in your own life, to be intentional. I always talk about living in the present moment, and it's so true. We never really get it as human beings because of all the beliefs that we've had over time. And we spend so much time living in the past, regretting things that, we wish could have been different, better, more. Or we are so anxious about the future, what the future holds for us. And the past we could never change. The future we can't predict. And I know that all too well, because Frank left that morning and kissed me goodbye and said, "I love you." And then in a few minutes, he was gone. So the present moment is really all we have that we can control in our lives. Frank knew that. I always used to think he was such an old soul, because even at 17, like, how the heck did you know that I was the one that was going to be the mother of your kids, and that I was the one for you, looking through a kitchen window? Like, that's crazy. And I always used to joke with him and tell him, "Oh my God, if you had told me that at that moment, I would have not even given you a second thought, because I was not ready to be a mom at that time." But there was so much wisdom in the things that Frank said and did over the course of his life. Those of you that had the honor and the privilege of knowing Frank know this. Some of the comments that I saw today on Facebook from 4 years ago were that Frank was a caring person, that he was a gentle soul, that he always made sure that he acknowledged people and made you feel special. And I loved I love to see all those messages, because a lot of that were from you guys from the States that had the honor of knowing Frank before I got to know him in his younger days, right? So Frank was always that person since he was little, all the way up until he died. If you guys saw my video that I posted, I actually posted it on my Darlene Garcia business page, but it was a video that I had put together last year, and it was all the things that we have done since Frank died to honor his memory. And it's such a beautiful tribute that we can do for him every month, every year, on his Angelversary, every birthday, every Christmas, every opportunity that we are celebrating something or someone. Frank is always a part of it. But some of the unique things that we did to honor him really helped us to find healing and joy in the midst of our sadness. And it helps, especially for those that haven't done grief recovery yet. You know, the first step to healing is always just acknowledging and feeling your pain, right? So I know that at some point when you're all ready, you know where to find me. Anyways, I'm gonna spend a little bit more time up here with this angel love of mine alone. So thank you guys for tuning in, for being a part of my journey, for supporting me, for loving me. Thank you for sharing your words of gratitude with me as well, that I've inspired your life in some way. Because all of that means that Frank didn't die in vain, and that his memory will live on forever. Because even after I go, I know you guys will be talking about him. And I think that that's beautiful, because he left a lasting impression on all your hearts. And even those of you that never met Frank know him through all the stories that I share. And I find that simply amazing. So when your loved ones pass on, it's nice to remember them and to talk about them, and for people to engage in sharing fond memories with you. And when you die, when it's your turn, think about what you want to be remembered for, what you want to leave behind. Frank left behind an amazing legacy of caring and unselfishness and wisdom and gratitude and so much love for all the lives that he touched. So thank you for being a part of this journey with us, and it doesn't end here. It will continue, but I need to spend some time with him now. So I love you guys. Happy Angelversary to the man that spent all of his adult life with me.